is your music lesson. Very important stuff right here. These are tuning forks. Tuning forks are what they use to tune pianos or whatever, but if you hit one, it'll resonate a certain frequency. Depending on how hard you hit it, it'll oscillate faster or slower, and that tone will be louder or softer. That's called amplitude, okay? So you strike it, it'll go boo. If that's a C, where's Brother Quamon? I don't know what that note was I just hit. He has perfect pitch. Let's play like it's C. So you got a C tuning fork. You hit it. Boo. It'll resonate at that frequency. Middle C is 440 hertz. So it's resonating at 440 hertz. Ooh. You get another tuning fork. That's C as well. You don't even have to hit it. When you bring it into the circumference of the other tuning fork, because they're the same note or they resonate on the same frequency, it'll start moving and making a tone as well. Ooh. So you bring them together, it's woo. They're both doing the same thing. Yeah, see, that's how you communicate with light or sound beings in other dimensions, because you're a sound being. So when we resonate on the frequency with beings on the other dimension at the same frequency, then we do the same thing. This is what Jesus meant by, see, what you see me doing here on earth, you only getting a mirror or a picture of what my Father is doing in heaven. Whatsoever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. You resonate on the same frequency. That means we are doing the same thing because we are the same thing. Can I preach in here? I got a scripture for it. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done where? That's all it's saying. We're instruments, so we resonate based on frequencies. When we resonate on the same frequency with God, we agree with him and his will in the earth. So when we agree with him and his will on earth, we're both making the same sound. Does that make sense? That's sound. Discernment is reading intent. The energy of a person transmits their intent. Some call this, in New Age, they call it the aura of a person. But the energy of a person transmits their intent. Because music is resonating frequencies, a person's energy can be projected through their music without lyrics. It's resonating frequency. So their energy, it's all sound, it's all light, so their energy can be projected through the sound, through the music, without lyrics. That's why you can listen to certain music that somebody's playing, you can be like, I don't think I like that. It's making me feel weird. They can transmit intent with just tones. What do you think David did when Saul was troubled by the evil spirit? The Bible says David got the harp, started playing. His intent soothed Saul. He didn't sing nothing. He didn't have to. His intent. Look at somebody and say intent. Perception is a function of the frontal lobe of the brain. This helps us read the intent of things. God desires for us to keep this ability keen and guard in our hearts, because without it, we will be deceived. I'm preaching in this place. Everything we do is from the function of brain waves. So to change a person's behavior, all you have to do is change their what? Tones and sounds change our brain waves. Music creates patterns that govern the way our bodies operate. The wrong music can change our behavior, the way we view ourselves, our ability to succeed in life, and how we relate to others. The Illuminati knows this. This is why the music industry is controlled. Watch this. To support our greatest well-being, we must allow ourselves and our brain patterns to breathe in concert with Earth and with her natural cycle moment to moment. What he's talking about here is a scale. The earth is a spherical receiver of cosmic energy. I just told you about that. The light is receiving the light or the energy, which directs our biological process and spiritual unfoldment. The earth re-radiates the cosmic information it receives from its core outward in complex long wave signals. We receive these signals via our antenna. God made us an antenna. That's our spinal column and cranial structure. The cranial cavity, the capstone to this antenna, captures this information, refocuses it to the pineal gland, a neuroendocrine transducer in the center of the brain, where it is then transmitted as signals that direct the pituitary gland, the master control center of the brain. These signals are further distributed via the rest of the neurological system. It is possible to entrain the brain with artificially generated signals. So not using the signal because Earth is rotating and making a sound at 440. That's the scale we tune all our instruments on. So not the natural sounds, but it's possible to train our brains with an artificially generated signal in a matter of seconds and at a cost. We are not intended to function at one specific frequency. In training ourselves can artificially generate frequencies for extended periods. It can be debilitating and is dangerous. It can create degeneration, disease, mental, emotional, and physical disharmony and imbalance. Because we are formed from the earth, we are formed and aligned with Earth's frequency, which is 440. That's why when you hear a piano and the piano plays and then the piano's out of tune, you hear it's out of tune because it's out of tune based on the Earth's rotation and the frequency of the earth, which is 440. But the other planets are on different frequencies because there are other beings inhabiting those. They can't inhabit human life. That's why when they worship the planets as the gods, they would always name the planet after the god that the planet was ruled by. So if you tune your instrument to Saturn or Jupiter, it sounds crazy here in our world because it's off, because it's not, our bodies aren't set to that frequency. Are y'all still here? It's about to make sense in a minute. Here's a chart. Now this chart shows you light and sound. If I was to take sound and put it on the largest piano ever created with all these octaves, this right here would be visible light. So we have all of this sound, and as sound travels, sound becomes waves. It becomes radio waves, it becomes microwaves, it becomes infrared, and then it becomes visible light. But that's all we can see. So we got all this stuff happening around us, and we can't decode any of it because God only gave us eyes to see this much. That's visible light. Sound becomes visible light at 10 to the 40th power of C. And these are colors. Light is color. So we only have access to just this little. I wanted to just kind of give you a perspective. All the rest of this is AM radio, FM radio. These are all things that these gods came down and showed us how to manipulate this energy so we can create all these devices. Are y'all still here? This is a simple experiment that is done to show you tone and how tone mind stamps your brain and causes your chemicals to conform to its pattern. So its tonal pattern or its sound makes your brain conform to it. They took a plate, they wired this plate up with a tone. They're going to play one single tone, and they threw rice randomly on this plate. And that tone is going to create its frequency pattern with this rice. No matter how much rice they throw on it, you'll see it keeps conforming. Watch the rice. Stop. As it goes higher and higher, the pattern becomes more and more complex. Now that's your brain. That's amazing. That's what happens to your brain waves when you take in tones. The music you listen to trains your brain to conform to its identity, just like the rice. This is how the Illuminati controls us. They put messages and influential intent. Look at somebody and say intent. Doesn't have to have lyrics. Intent can be projected because intent is energy. Energy is sound, and light is all together. Your intent can travel just like the sound can. I'm going to prove that in a minute. They put messages and influential intent in the music via tones and frequencies, and these patterns not only train us to receive their agenda, but cause us to fight for it and against anyone that tried to take it away. Take somebody's music away. Tell them that their music is bad and watch how they act. No, man. You talking about the music that made my brain like this? That's what they need to say. You talking about the music that made me dress like this? Put this junk in my mouth, made me sad? You talking about the music that got me a felony? You talking about the music that got all these girls pregnant? That music? Man, that music don't make me do nothing. Ignorant. Has your music made you an enemy of God? High frequencies resonate in your mind. Complexity resonates in your mind. Women love this. That's why in the 90s they had New Jack Swing and all these different kind of music with a lot of highs. They were purposely putting those highs in there to entrain the women to get into the clubs. They needed the women to get into the clubs. The women had vacated the clubs around the 80s because, I was about to say Negroes, but we have white people in here. But well, it was. Negroes start breakdancing. Can't no girl dance with you. So they slinging their legs. Girls like, oh man, dancing on their head. They ain't bringing a girl into the club. They bringing cardboard. What you gonna do, man? Put it down. Yeah. Shoot. Watch this. Go on, girl. Go on. No, I ain't got time for you. Watch me spin on my head. So the girls left the club. And the club is where babies are made. So they got to get these girls back to the club, so they introduced New Jack Swing. And the highs of the 90s. You hear music now, you be like, where's the bass? Why is it all treble? Because it lures the women. Women like the highs. They respond. Their brain pattern is more responsive to the highs. Low frequency resonate in your genitals and lower body. Yeah. This is why the men like the low. Because the low rattle their little stuffy stuff. And the girls too. Yeah. The lows. You drop the lows. Yeah. Boom, boom. And that's the first thing. Just, what is that? Resonates in your genitals and lower body, altering your body and causing your tissue, bones, and solid matter to shift and move. Complex music, symphonic, what the smart people listen to, is hard to manipulate because of the tonal structure and the way our minds decode it. If it promotes too much thought, then there's little room for a message to be attached to it. You can't put no message to symphony music because the symphonic music is massaging your brain for whatever else you're thinking about or doing. It's too complex. The Illuminati desires to entice the children with simplistic, hypnotic music so they can alter their imaging and reduce their thought patterns. No, nobody wants, young folks, no, not no, all the different instruments, no. They want to hear, That's hypnotic. Bing, bing, bing. Bing, bing, bing. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, that's how I like it. Don't change nothing. We taking it to the bridge. Bridge? Don't you go to no bridge. Bing, bing, bing. She moving it just like I want her to. Bing. This allows for a message to be received without distraction. You're hypnotized. Bing, bing, bing. And the message, because it's not complex, so your brain is not working. Your brain is recording. Because if they aren't thinking, then they are receiving. The industry creates music genres to cater to these factors.